little words. You know, there's two words that have been weaponized lately. And if you've tried to encourage someone, or maybe you've tried to encourage yourself, you might have felt the sting of these two words. What are they? Toxic positivity. Is that real? Maybe you've heard of it, and maybe you even had it aimed at you. I know I have, and it stopped me in my tracks. Honestly, I felt like I'd done something wrong by choosing hope. Hi, my name is Janine, and this is Just Saying Wisdom. This is where we share the stories of our life, the experiences of our life, and learn to reframe those hard times into lessons that can benefit others, including ourselves. So let's talk about what that phrase actually is, where the idea came from, and why I think it's been misused. 2001, a psychologist named Barbara Held wrote about what she called the tyranny of the positive attitude. Let me say that again, the tyranny of the positive attitude. The idea that Western culture had developed an almost obsessive demand for relentless optimism. And if you weren't smiling, you were failing. That negativity itself was the enemy. She wasn't wrong about the pressure. A lot of us felt it. That idea eventually got a catchier name. The phrase toxic positivity started appearing around 2011, and by 2019, it was everywhere. On Instagram, in therapy offices, in everyday conversation. And again, the original concern was legitimate. Nobody wants to hand a grieving person a bumper sticker. But here's what happened. A phrase that was meant to describe forced, dismissive cheerfulness started getting aimed at anyone who chose hope. Well, I think people are smart enough, most people anyway, to know when someone is sincerely concerned and is trying to help, and when those people come along that don't know how to show it and don't know what to say. So they end up filling the void with unnecessary positive statements. That's certainly not what I'm talking about. That's not encouragement. That's dismissal with a smile. Not what we want to do. I don't believe that positivity is the problem. Denial is. And they are not the same thing. You know, recently I was telling someone that I was going to be retiring soon, and their comment to me was, wow, it must be nice to not have to work anymore. And I had to chuckle, because that's certainly not the option for me. I will be working, but I will be choosing a different road, a different path. It certainly doesn't mean I'm done, that I'm finished. What I'm actually doing is closing one door to open another one. I told her that I think of this as not retiring, but as in retiring. Just like getting new wheels on our car so that we can go the next 70,000 miles. So it's a rephrase. I'm the same driver, I'm just on a different road. And I'm not pretending that I'm 25 again. Believe me, my knees tell me every morning that that is not the case. But what I am doing is reframing my future. You can think about it as if you put a beautiful picture into an old tattered frame. What are people going to notice? The frame, of course. They're going to be drawn to that. If you want them to notice the picture, you've got to put it in a nice frame. And that's what we're doing here, reframing. And let me be clear, reframing is not the same thing as denial. Not by a long shot. Reframing is asking yourself, what else might be true here? It isn't, How can I pretend that this really didn't happen to me? Those are two very different questions. Here's some examples of the difference. If I lose my job, denial will say, well, I didn't need that job anyway. Where positivity will ask the question, well, what's next? What can I do? How can I use my experience to be useful? It might even say, I'm hurt, I'm scared. But it's acknowledging the pain and then moving forward with a plan. In this scenario, the facts remain the same, only the meaning is very different. And if someone hurts me, denial will say, I'm not hurt, it didn't matter. But a reframe on that would be, I'm really hurt, but I'm not going to let this hurt become my permanent address. This is why I struggle with how we're throwing around toxic positivity. Critics have suggested the concept has led to too much importance being placed on avoiding upbeat thinking while pushing challenging experiences to the side. Which is ironic because that's exactly what toxic positivity was supposed to prevent. When we use it as a weapon against everyone or anyone who chooses hope, we haven't solved the problem, we've just flipped it. Viktor Frankl, a psychologist and Holocaust survivor, offered what some consider the real antidote, which he called tragic optimism, the ability to search for meaning during and after tragedy, not instead of it. That's not toxic, that's survival, that's wisdom. Positivity isn't saying everything is wonderful. Positivity says, this is hard, but I still believe something good can come of it. Barbara Held warned us about fake happiness. She did not say to stop hoping. When we use toxic positivity as a label for anyone who chooses the second sentence, we haven't solved Barbara Held's problem. We've just created a new tyranny, the tyranny of mandatory despair. Here's a simple question I use. Does this positive thought acknowledge reality or replace it? If it replaces reality, then it's denial. If it acknowledges reality and then offers hope, that's wisdom. Use that test. It's the kind that looks difficulty right in the eye and says, I believe that tomorrow has possibility, even now. Not because today didn't hurt, but because today doesn't get the final vote. That's why I'm not retiring. I'm retiring new wheels, new roads, same driver. So if you're stepping into a new season in your life, maybe you're not at the end of your story. Maybe you're just heading out on a new adventure. Just saying. If this resonated with you, I sure hope you'll stick around. Hit the subscribe button because we're just getting started. Every week, I'm here talking about things that matter to people like us. The reinventors, the reckonings, and the moments that we decide that our best chapters are not behind us. If this video spoke to something within you, give it a like. It helps others find their way here. And if you know someone who needs to hear that choosing hope is not a character flaw, be sure and share it. Has anyone aimed the toxic positivity statement at you when you were trying to be hopeful? Drop me a comment. I want to hear your story. I'll see you next week. Just saying.